Good morning. Hopefully you can hear me actually, because I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm realizing I don't think I need headphones. I don't think. I don't know why I've been wearing them this whole time. It's not like there's any music playing, or there was, but I'm not listening to it. So we're gonna start live a few minutes early today. Good morning. There he is. Wild Wolf Barbershop is back. Wait a second. This is a different barbershop name. We had a barbershop name uh last week, and it was like a NYC barbershop. Is this a competing barbershop, or are you the same guy? Foregunner, good morning. Hey, I know you're probably driving, but let me know if you can hear me okay. If not, I gotta turn on my headphones, which I don't actually have down here, so that would be a problem. But I think you should be able to hear me, hopefully. Anyway, while I wait for a response on that, you hear me? Perfect. All right, I'm panicking here a little bit inside. Resolute P, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining today. You're different, dude. Are you in NYC? Because like, if you are, we're gonna throw down scissors or something. You guys are gonna scissor each. Oh wow. Okay. No, no, that's not something you do even in the barbershop world, I assume. All right, we got a lot to talk about today. We have a quality show as usual, not with those comments. ATL, all right. I've been to that airport. Are you in the actual airport? That'd be cool. Probably not. Probably not. And also Atlanta being like the biggest city and airport of all time. It's not like we could ever find you even if we wanted to. Dude, your 6 lane highways absurd, or was it eight? Whatever it is. It's like the LA of the East. Insane driving around there. Did not like it, I gotta say. But hey, welcome. It is Friday, August 14th, which means it's not OpEx. It's an OpEx, but it's not the OpEx. It's not monthly OpEx. So we're still cool. We can still do fun stuff with options. But what a week it has been. We've had a lot of green this week, and that's been super exciting. Metro ATL. Okay, okay. All right, all right. Yeah, I visit. Well, it's been a while actually, but I found myself visiting on somewhat regular occasion. Well, there's a lot going on in Atlanta, right? So I guess no matter where you are in your life, there's a good chance that you may find yourself in Atlanta for some reason, much like you would in LA, I would imagine. But that's besides the point. So, I'm curious, what is everybody walking into Friday interested in? We've got like multiple storylines. We've got Reddit going into the S&P 500. That's my favorite storyline. There's a lot of excitement there for me. Pre-market, they're back at about the 200 SMA, or right below it. They were up there earlier. They've been as high as 178, which is what the 200 SMA is, and currently sitting between the 50 and the 200. So that's exciting because it actually puts us back into this channel that we were in. So that's been a much needed and much appreciated momentum boost that we haven't had here in a little bit. So we've got that going on. Obviously, ONS had reported their earnings yesterday, and they had an EPS miss, which I get it. A lot of people panicked about, but like the revenue was way too strong to ignore in a growth company case. So to me, super bullish, super bullish. So despite the fact that we had what was that, 8%, almost 9% drop yesterday, it is also a like a bottom candle, uh, inverted hammer or rising star or something like that. There's I forget what they call this candle, but this is actually a bullish candle, and probably this arrow that we drew can stay there. I don't think we need to change that at all. And we're back above the 100 and the 200 on ONS as a pre-market. Now, obviously, who knows at open? We could shrink back. We'll see. Another funny one that I don't think is as popular, but I find it funny, is AmpX, which is Amprius Tech, which is a battery company. They're up right now 6% pre-market, approaching the 50. They've got some resistance here between the 50, the 200, and the 100, all overhead, looming overhead, saying not today. But I think it's going to do its best to break through there. This is funny because I looked at like what is the news, and it's literally just an amendment for their industrial lease agreement to extend it for like 5 years. And so all I can think is that the market was for some reason pricing in bankruptcy. I don't know what else they would have been, what else would have been driving this, where that news would have caused a 6.5% increase pre-market. That's pretty wild. Nothing else in the DC world, and they're kind of like DC adjacent. I don't know if they're really supplying like DC backup battery power. I don't know how much battery power you would need to back up a DC. My guess is they have like full on gas generators instead, which would make a lot more sense for a switchover, in my opinion. Having run factories, typically factories would use a standalone, like you could bring a generator on a truck and they would use that. So I would assume they'd have something industrial of that nature rather than batteries. But whatever, they are up 6.5% on that news, which is kind of hilarious. And then Lunar also up. I'm not sure if they had any big news in the last couple hours to actually spur this on, but they are up with, I guess, a bunch of new price targets. Cutting, look at all these price target cuts after they raised all the price targets because the stock was mooning as they do. They're now cutting them after we dropped dramatically. So there we are. 5 hours ago, key facts: Lunar Q2 miss, 2 billion backlog. So I mean, I guess that's really what it is people remembering. Oh yeah, they're not going anywhere. So Lunar's getting some love. If you got Lunar back at the low, you're up 60%. We're Gunner asking about Celsius. Are you covering for Tony? Is Tony on vacation today? Tony Royal? Or are you actually Tony Royal and you didn't realize you were on your wrong account? We don't know. We don't know. Dude, Celsius is looking quite nice. Okay, so as we said yesterday, Celsius, which by the way had a great day. What were they up yesterday? Jeez, it was a pretty good day for them. 420, nice, nice. Nah, not okay, okay, all right, Foregunner, I believe you for now. They are up though quite a bit. They're up. So from their low, by the way, they're already up 20%, which is generally a good sign. And they're if they finish today above this line, I think we can say that we've got confirmation that we're not breaking down. That is my guess. Again, nothing is like for sure, but like this would definitely be the point. I would start feeling pretty good about it. Good morning, good theta. Welcome in, welcome in. I know you're having a good day today. Okay, so how many leaps, how many Reddit leaps did you buy, and why? That timing is sus. Did you know something? Did you know something coming from the future? You must have the Farmer's Almanac for this year. Almanac for this year. All right. Anything else? Big green or big red to start the day? Not particularly. Circle, by the way, has been taken off. So this has been a play that I got in at 65, which would have been, I'm on the weekly here, aren't I? Yeah. I got in at 65 on Circle, which must have been, where was that? Here? Yeah, I guess we dropped out over here. And I was feeling pretty good about it, actually, even at 65. And now it looks like I'm letting it go, which is totally cool at 70. Anybody else in Circle? I wonder. 65, 65. We're good, nice and clean. Yeah, so we sold some calls at 70 and we resold these again. So, whoops. I guess we can just copy paste that. And this was only for a week. I think we sold this somewhere around here. And let's make that one exact as, oh, it is. Look at that. Amazing. So yeah, this is great. I'm looking forward to freeing up some cash here. The Circle play was good. I don't have any problem with it. In fact, it looks super bullish, probably up to 85. There he is. Green cheese is in the house. So yeah, feels pretty good if you're still holding on to that. But I'm gonna let it go. Looks like it's gonna back test here a little bit today after a nice little run up. They had a almost 6% day yesterday, so that's pretty solid. Shop, by the way, also crushing it all of a sudden. Man, this is one maybe I should have held on a little bit longer for. I had Shop U and I cut it right here around 150. I didn't think we were going to break through this gap so quickly, honestly. And then here we are, no problem. Not even a week later. Green cheese, how we feeling on ons? Are you walking away a happy man? 5.5% pre-market. well above 850. So you should be free and clear on your 5,000 strategies or whatever. What was the exact number? I saw you said it was like 4,800, but there were actually more, or was that half of them? And the limit is 10,000 strategies. Who knew? Robinhood has a limit. They don't have a limit on taking your money, but they'll have a limit on a number of strategies you can play on a single ticker, which I doesn't actually make sense to me. But I guess it's too much a concentrated risk. And in the end, they're probably protecting themselves in the case that you can't cover, right? Dude, Ampix, 9% now? What are you doing? It doesn't even make sense. That's insane. Just because they extended their lease. No susness. You have 8 Reddit. Wow. Wow. Very nice, dude. That is okay. So here's the $1 million question. Potentially. Genuinely, potentially $1 million question. Are you gonna hold it or are you gonna cash out? Or you could trim. You could also trim. You could take out your cost by trimming. That's a potential, right? But I mean, 12% on a leap right now, that's pretty solid. I mean, I don't know what you paid for them. I guess I could cheat and look, but and it was for June 2027. So they certainly weren't cheap, but whatever they were, you just gained $20 almost of intrinsic. So like that's $2,000 a contract, right? Most likely something around there, I would guess. Oh, that's hard to say no to. Do you have a target? That's a good question as well. I would guess we're going to head back up to 200 here in the not too distant future. I really thought we were going to head up to there after earnings, and which this is, I guess, after earnings. You do tend to sell early. Tony Royal, dude, we just looked at Celsius. Somebody else covered for you. They were asking about Foregunner was wondering. We're gonna hit Celsius early, okay? Celsius looks good. Celsius looks good. The weekly looks good. Looks like we've got confirmation we're staying above this Head and Shoulders. Now, I will say there is still some risk on the monthly, but like generally looking bullish. We just turned bullish on the daily and the weekly. No, not on the weekly. Yes, on the weekly. When did wait? Oh, we just turned bullish on the weekly. Interesting. This seems wrong for some reason. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. After this drop down to here, yeah. Anyway, it is definitely flipping bullish here, and I kind of like it. I kind of like it for you. Again, I'm not sure I'm getting into it, but I do think it looks quite good here. So there's that. Thoughts on MP, Huma, and SMR? All right, we'll hit all of those. You're letting on spreads expire. Ooh, risky, risky. 4,968 spreads. So yes, you are over 9,000 officially. That's awesome. Will to the fee, welcome. Good morning to you. Happy Friday. All right, you want to take a look at MP? We could definitely take a look at MP for sure. Wow, what a week, what a month for MP. They are very bullish all of a sudden. It says it on the daily. That's got to be on the weekly too. No, soon. If not now, when? I mean, probably today. This turns bullish for the monthly or the weekly, I should say. Looks good. I mean, MP looks good from my perspective. We held on pretty strong here on the weekly. Actually, let's look at the weekly for a second. You can see we tested the 100. We dropped a little bit below that, but very quickly rebounded after a deep sell-off. I wonder if that hit another EMA somewhere that I'm not aware. Okay, well, the 34 on the monthly is what we appear to have tapped off of. And it looks good. I mean, I don't know how you could say this is anything but bullish. On the monthly, you have a potential giant engulfing tweezer bottom green candle. Look at that. So if you didn't know what a tweezer is, this right here, my friends, is a tweezer. Generally, it signals the bottom, and the bigger the time frame, the more meaningful any chart pattern is. And so basically, it's characterized by a red bar at the bottom with a wick on the bottom and the top, and then the same on the monthly, or not the monthly, sorry, on the green candle following. And it's red and then green, which is an important distinction. It's got to be red then green for it to be a bottom. Top would be the other. It would be green then red, signaling we're heading down. So MP looks quite good here. They just had good earnings too, didn't they? Like this week or last week was it? Maybe it was last week. They beat okay, they beat slightly. They beat slightly, which is fine. They beat on revenue by a good margin, so that's pretty exciting. Let's take a quick look at PE. Yeah, they don't make money yet. That's the only problem. But I think they may be heading in the right direction here. Finally, it looks like they used to make money. I don't know if they've made recent investments or what. That's something that's worth looking into if you are interested in checking out the company itself. But at some point, they did make money. It looks like, or maybe not. Did they never make money? It shows it here as net income. Hmm. Anyway, the chart looks quite good for the short term here. And my guess is you got upside. There might be some resistance here at 57.90, the 200 SMA. But more likely, we're gonna see some resistance here at 73, 74. I would bet that's going to be where we have a make or break situation. You can see it here, 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 even back here a couple of times. That's going to be a spot. Also, it was support a couple of times over here and here. This is definitely the bounce line for MP. Definitely check that out. Considering putting you on the list that forces them to call you before any. Oh, well, that's good. That would make sense. I think that's a good idea. Huma, let's take a look at Huma. I heard there was some news where Huma all of a sudden had a good day. It does not look like that was the case. It looks like they're getting beat to hell. What happened? I don't know anything about Huma other than my leaps on them are definitely fried here. Let's see. Huma site is maintained at speculative buy by benchmark. That feels very true. Is there any other news that was quite big for it? Let's see. Net loss persists despite higher revenues, equity raises. Yeah, Nasdaq compliance risk remains. It's honestly, if I wasn't in Huma here, this is probably either the exact point to get in, or not touch it ever again, because we're at a double all-time low bottom. So maybe there's some copium chance for a bounce off here. It looks like pre-market looks quite good for whatever reason. Pre-market we're up, 6%, 6%. But I don't know why they're just bouncing back off of a double bottom test here. This line can disappear. In fact, we could just change that to this because that is clearly what happened. But I don't know, man. They've got a lot of challenges ahead of them. Can they really make a meaningful run back up to like they had a cup and handle that almost hit and then just dropped like a rock again. I mean, 60% after dropping, 60% or whatever. That's not good. That's not good. There's a lot of challenges ahead of this company, and like on the monthly, this chart is exclusively bearish. Exclusively. The question is, are they going to go out of business or not? That's honestly truly the only question for Humasite. But I know we have some big time bulls with Young Ember in particular, who's got like a bajillion shares of them. Can't feel good holding them right now after a 17% drop. So yeah, we can definitely hold on here with some patience, is what I would say at this point. There's just too much risk in this business if you're not already in it. SMR, we can hit SMR, which is a small modular reactor, aka NuScale Power. And on the daily, look, actually, go back to the monthly. They got a tweezer bottom going on here too. Check it out. If we could close the month slightly higher than we opened last month, that would be a great sign for the long term. And maybe this was another like, hey, is this a tweezer? But then it wasn't. So there's no guarantee here, and I still personally have an alert way down here at $7. And currently on the monthly, it's very worth mentioning that it's lower high, lower lows repeating, and this could just be a lower high. And unless there's an actual breakthrough, like the confirmation line, truly for SMR is going to be up here, where they essentially need to break the prior lower high to really confirm a breakout here, and that's all the way at $13 or 12.50. We'll call it 12.50. And let's put that on the money. 12.5, 12.5. Here we go. So this is the breakout, the bullish breakout. If we can break through this, we've got a shot. We've got a shot at redemption. This is SMR's redemption arc. We're not there yet. It looks good in the short term. There's potential. Certainly, we bottomed out. We're bullish on the daily. We're approaching, or if not bullish on the weekly. It looks like we are considered bullish on the weekly here. Back above the 80 MA on the weekly, that's good. Back above the 50 on the daily, that's good. The 100 is probably going to be pretty strong resistance here at 1050. I don't know if we can break through that. That'll be the test. That'll be the test, in my opinion. Flava Flav, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And congrats to everybody on Reddit. Can I check out CRM? Oh wait, hold on, bros. I almost missed Foregunner. Yes, we're gonna check out everything today. Everything is feeling good to me right now. Reddit's still looking great, by the way. Pre-market, holding on to that 175 plus. That's above the 50. We'll take it. We'll take it. Bros before lows. Bros is interesting. I think we're at support. I think we've already hit it, and this like lines up quite well in my opinion. There's still risk for sure down to 45 or so. I'm going to delete this. Look at me again because I already have shares on it. That's kind of silly to even consider. But let's look at the let's clean this up briefly and look at the monthly here and see if what is the next risky spot for us. This actually looks like it on this chart as well. This looks like we've already hit it. Dang it! I forget every time. Why do people at this exact time of the day I get messages? That's so ridiculous. Um, if not, the next point is probably 45. Yeah, which is the 50 SMA on the monthly. So Bros looks good. Limited downside risk, in my opinion. They had great results. They have great growth opportunities. They have a great growth story, a path to growth. They're buying real estate. That's what their business does. So how can this be anything but mispricing by the market and bullish? I don't know, and that's why I'm buying shares. Maybe that's ignorant and not the smartest thing to do, but not personal financial advice, of course. But this is that I am up to 50 shares of a potential of about 300 max position. And if you're wondering why I'm not going all in, because I do think there's still a risk to back test all the way down to here, the bottom of this wick, which lines up perfectly with the 50 SMA on the monthly, as you can see there, right? So that's probably the last line of defense. And if we were to drop below that, then it's kind of a look out below scenario to like sub 40. I don't think that's going to happen here, though. I really do think that this is all upside from here on, most likely. And the daily is good. We had a not the prettiest tweezer bottom, but that is a tweezer. Usually, you want to see the bigger green candle if possible, like we talked about. This is on the daily though, so this is not super surprising. Realistically, we ran and raced back down to this support line here, totally fine. And this is where we started to accumulate because this seemed like a very good potential bottom. So I'm caffeinated and bullish on Bros for sure. And yeah, NFA, not financial advice. Thoughts on Hog? Oh, wait, did I miss anything? Hold on. We got CRM. Almost missed CRM. I haven't looked at CRM in a day or two. Super bullish. Back tested off the 200 beautifully, I might add. And now the big thing is, can we break through 200? We're above 200. We closed above 200. That's a big deal, actually. And in fact, the 200 SMA is basically where we're at right this second. So CRM has a lot of resistance right above it on the daily. We've got the bottom of the gap again, as well as the top of the gap. Both of these things are kind of in play, mostly because the bottom of the gap persists for some period of time we've got like the market has memory of that very often. You can see, especially because it was resistance here And while we did break through and close the gap, it ended up being resistance again. And finally, yesterday, I would argue that was resistance again, along with the SMA. So the confluence of resistance was tough to overcome, and we couldn't do it in a day. But I mean, look, it was still a 4% day. So I would call that good. Are we going to break through here today? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we back test a little bit, but generally bullish. There's nothing else you can say about this. It is, look at this. We got silver flow picking up. This is a big deal. This is where big money is flowing back in. This is exciting. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean it's going to continue, right? See here in the past, we had that bullish momentum. We had it here briefly. We have it here, but definitely a good sign. And the fact is, we're up 40% almost after testing off this low down here, which, by the way, on the monthly, when we zoom out and look at this, this was a position that we expected to see back testing, right? Look at this clean test, 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 test. 1, 2, 1, 2. We are testing and we're clear. We're being very clearly heard here. Also, a bit of a tweezer on the monthly, big tweezers. So, like, this all looks really good to me. And while we might have short-term resistance here, my guess is we, at the very least, run back up to 250. That would be my guess. And 250 would put us kind of over here, this zone, 265 maybe, somewhere in this area, as short-term targets. Long term, I don't see why we don't go all the way back up to the top of the channel and maybe back into the channel that we were in. We have broken out of that. We do have the 100 SMA on the monthly, the MMA, which is usually a tough fighter for us to get through. But I don't see why we don't. I really don't. This feels like a very bullish bottom here, and at least on the daily and the weekly, we have everything that we need on the daily and the weekly in order to get to break out here. So that's my thoughts on CRM. Real Madrid Kaka made it in. Welcome in. Welcome in. You bought 600 bros yesterday. You buy more if it goes lower. Yeah, well, look, dude. Oh, you're playing with a $10 million bankroll all of a sudden. So I get it. You do you. Percent wise, that probably makes sense. But I think it's good. I think it's good. I wish the options paid a little bit more than they did. The IV is lower than I thought it was higher, but then I'm realizing that's because we used to only have monthly options last year for them. So that makes sense. Can I explain a tweezer bottom like you're 8? Okay, well, tweezers are things that you use to pull little things that you grab things like hair follicles or ticks, right? You use tweezers to remove them. So you can imagine that tweezers look like that, right? Like little tweezers. Actually, you know what? Probably the best way. I'll get you an answer here in just a second, Rich. Never mind on your question, Real Madrid Kaga. Would I consider selling puts for 45? Well, I mean, it's fine, but again, the bigger issue is the IV. That's the bigger issue is if we look at the option chain for bros right here. I was on ons for I don't know what reason, but bros at 51. If we were looking at the monthly OPEX here, which is the 21st, so obviously nobody's going to sell the 45 today for today. That wouldn't make sense. But if you were to look at the 45 for next week, you can't even sell it. Like there is open interest, but the bid spread is 0 to a quarter. So we're talking at best, maybe you're going to get 15 cents there. Maybe you're going to get a 0.25% ROC. I don't know. It doesn't feel like a good use of the money. I think in this particular scenario, you could do a couple of things. Because the IV is low, one thing I would consider is leaps. I think I would actually consider leaps here. I wish they had June leaps, though. I don't like the January leaps, although they're probably fine. January is probably enough time. So we could look at buying a $50 leap for $7 from here. And honestly, as I'm looking at this, that seems like a potentially good idea. Not financial advice. I'm thinking about it though personally at $50. And in fact, you could even maybe consider the 45 for $10. Get that $5 of intrinsic, so you're essentially only, or actually $6 of intrinsic. So you'd only be paying $4 of speculative, whereas here you're paying $5, $6. January though, what does 2028 cost? That's crazy. 2028. I don't think I would buy this. It's just very expensive, and I'm not sure. I don't know. Actually, I guess it's not that bad. You could buy a few of these and probably do quite well if you want to give yourself the maximum amount of time for something to go right here. I think the January is probably what I would personally go with if I go with it. Um, but honestly, I might just keep accumulating shares here. I like the company. I think buying shares is fine. I think buying a leap is probably fine, but obviously there's a lot more risk in buying the leap because if it stays below whatever your strike price is, your value goes to zero or whatever you stop loss sell it at. So keep that in mind. The shares, the risk is also that the company goes to zero, but I don't see that happening for Bros anytime soon anyway. I would think that the coffee would have to be considered a carcinogen in California for that to happen, and we're not there. G. Galileo, Galilee. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for my dedication, dude. The most dedicated. You know it. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Very kind words. Well, you have Netflix. Worth keeping or better take an L and move somewhere? What? No, Netflix is good right now. Okay, okay, what did you get Netflix at? And is it a leap or is it shares? I will tell you this: the chart for Netflix at this exact second is turning bullish. Turning bullish. We're not quite there, but like we're in a pretty good spot. We're probably going to have some sad times at 84 and 90, so there's some resistance here. But generally, the chart looks quite good. Now, if we look at the monthly, you can see kind of why I'm thinking that. We've made a bit of a turn here. Now, this could be what happened here, right? We had a turn, dead cat bounce, drop all the way to this what looks like a very strong support line. Very strong. I bought leaps here and I sold them for a loss, and I realized that I got in at the wrong time. This would probably have been a much better time to wait to if I had the patience, which I didn't. And I have debated getting back in. I'm not yet. So what I'll tell you is I'm not currently holding anything, leaps or otherwise, or shares, because I think there is potential that we bounce back down here one more time, but it really depends on your shares. 93,000 shares is a lot of shares. Or 200 shares. I don't know. One of the two. But regardless, 93 is the cost base. I was gonna say, did Mark Cuban just come in here? I don't know. That's pretty cool. That'd be a lot of shares. How much would that be? 93. Wow, that is full screen. 200 times 78. That would be a position for sure. That would be a position. Hey, new 758. You are, I believe, new. Welcome, welcome. I think it's fine, honestly. If you're in a rush, Galilee, then yeah, if you see something else that you think is going to get you there sooner, I think it's fine to transition out or trim or cover, right? You could cover here if you wanted at like 83, 84. The IV isn't very strong on Netflix, so you find yourself always a little sad looking at the option chain, or at least I do. I always feel like the IV should be a little bit higher for how much it's dropped, but it's just not. So like, oh, we're out. Those are leaps. Okay, we don't care about that. Let's look at the 21st for what you might be able to see. Yeah, so like 85 is probably what I would want to look at on a weekly for Netflix, which is kind of far out and not paying a whole lot, but it would pay you something, and that would be a potential exit for you closer to your cost basis if you're unsure of holding them or not wanting to. And likely you'd be able to roll this out by the time you got close enough to 85, as Netflix, usually based on what we see here with the IV, does not move that quickly anyway. So I'm not sure I would personally be in a rush if I was holding shares. I got out because I was holding leaps, and it was a stop loss type of deal, right? So like it was like, yeah, I think we're gonna back out for now and maybe find another entry in the future here. But shares wise, like, yeah, I don't see a major problem with it. Hello, Motashim. I think I said it right. I'm sorry if I didn't, but welcome in. By the way, if you're new and you like the show, maybe hit the subscribe button, maybe hit the little heart button. It makes hearts fly up on my chat screen, which is kind of cool and makes me feel good about myself. But yeah, welcome in. Thanks for coming. The VIX and IV for most stocks collapsed last couple of weeks. Yeah, dude. VIX in general has dropped quite a bit. Jared G, welcome in. Oh, look, there's the hearts. See, those are the hearts. Oh, and other things happen. Oh, you can hit other things. That's cool. I didn't even know that. You think we hit bottom on Cipher? Let's take a look at Cipher. So anyway, hopefully that helped you, Gelly, with your take on Netflix. I'll get a question on ZS Celsius. Celsius short pump on the daily to 30. What do I think? All right, let's go. Let me go in order. I'll talk about. Do I think you asked if Cipher has bottom? By the way, look at this chart. I think that's like an oxymoron of some sort. We'll go back to that though. One second here. Celsius short pump on the daily to 30. I mean, no, I don't think so. Oh, maybe. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think so. I'd be surprised if it. I mean, How far out is that? We've got to go 9%. I don't. There's a couple of big days like that, right? But usually that was after a big drop, and we're not after a big drop. Now we do have like some bull pennant stuff maybe going on here, so it's possible, but I wouldn't bet money on it. Are you CSPing or something? Is that what you're doing? Can I look at ZS, Zscaler, right? Is that what ZS is? Yes. Wow. Zscaler looks pretty bullish too, actually, and broke above the 200 SMA here on the daily. Let's take a look at the monthly here. We've drawn something here before. Oh yeah, very good support here. This is a nice clean line that we've got going on. Weekly, what are we showing on the weekly? Weekly is at some resistance here actually right now, just short-term resistance, just from prior high that we just ran up to. And it's exactly on the 200 SMA on the weekly. Huh. Well, what I would suggest here is if you hold a position, great, looks fine to continue to hold. If you're not in a position, I might wait for confirmation for today, specifically ending the week above or below the 200. I don't think it's a major deal though, because overall it looks quite bullish on basically all but the monthly time frame. And we got earnings coming up in September, which is less than a month away for the day that that's coming up. So you've got that to keep in mind. Are we going to continue to run up to earnings? I don't know. And then highly likely if we break through here, we're gonna get tapped out at 210 would be my guess. Bottom of this little gap, but it is a gap. This is the air pocket. I love the air pockets for that matter. High IV stocks have ruined your palate for normal stocks. Yeah, dude, I know. I bought Pepsi Leaps, but that's when you buy Leaps. So when you've got a low IV stock, and that's why I bought Leaps on Netflix originally, was that Bros is a consideration for that matter. And if you didn't know, I entered Pepsi Leaps a couple of days ago here at this nice little bottom going on. The Discord heard all that call out, and we're up. Not like the chart makes it look like more than it is, maybe, but it's only it's only 2.5%. But it's a fairly pricey stock at this price, and I think we're going to run up to here, which is again only 20%. But on the leaps, this is still quite profitable because the leap that I got was well, as you can see here, 130C. I paid 1640 for that. And if we were to go up another, what was that, 20% in terms of absolute value, $25, that is intrinsically $25 more. So, 25 plus 16. Where's the calculator? There it is, 25 plus 16. The value will probably be 41 at that price. And if I was to get a return on that, it would be a 250% return if we hit this target here. So like that's the beauty of low IV is that's when you can comfortably play leaps if you have a good entry. Obviously, don't just buy leaps on stuff randomly that are low IV. That's a gamble, unnecessarily taking gambles there. But like that is a really nice way to get some upside on something that you can't sell options nicely for. That's when I kind of switch. You missed ZS at 42. What 142? What happened at 142? Oh, well, I mean, yeah, okay. It is what it is. You missed 30%. That's too bad. But like, hey, it's probably not a terrible spot to get in here still. So, do I think we hit bottom on Cipher? Let's hit that one. I didn't want to ignore Jerry G's question here. Sorry about that. Like I said, it is up, up, up a lot. We got to always keep that in mind when we're looking at these charts here. We're still up 4,000% from, 2022, which is significant and still in memory here for anyone looking at the chart on a zoomed out time scale. But do I think we've bottomed here? No, I'm not sure we have. So we were wedging. We broke out the wedge to the bottom side. Unfortunate. Was hoping to hold here. We're below the 200 SMA on the daily. What's the weekly got for us here? We're below the 50 on the weekly, and it doesn't really get any better. We're hanging. We're just hanging out here right now, which is a little concerning. My guess is if I had to pick like a actual resistance point here, let's pick the weekly to see if we can find something. Could we have bottomed? Yes. And the reason we could have is real simply short term, this could be a double bottom. So might be good there. But realistically, we risk all the way down to like here. I would say, this is probably the low end risk, this 1375 or whatever, somewhere around there. Do I think that's going to happen? We are bearish on the weekly, so it's possible. We've got some EMA crossover happening at the end of this week into next week if we stay down here. Today will be probably I think today will tell us a lot. If we close today above this line, I feel better. There's no guarantee, but I feel a little bit better that we held this support. And then really we need another good week next week. The problem is that the DCs have just run. By the way, this is a tweezer top for people who were asking earlier. There you go. There's a tweezer top, green then red. Yuck. And then what happens? We went down. But this is definitely a potential line of support. So at the end of today, you'll at least have a yes, we broke down, or no, we held on for one more week. But is the DC pump going to continue into next week? Now, if you were to ask me, I would say let's look at WIGME, which is holding Cypher, by the way, and the charts look kind of similar, actually. And it looks like it's got the same exact situation going on as Cypher. But we do have some, like, look at this. We're at a, we're going to call this the bounce line here. This is definitely a spot where if we can hold on for this week, if we can get back above here for WIGME, I feel pretty good. I feel like, yeah, we're going to make higher highs, higher lows, higher highs after this, ideally. That would be what we want to see here. There's also a weird little, this is actually, wait a second, this is like a cup and handle going on here. I'm just noticing. It's not like a clean cup, right? It's a weird one where it goes slightly above. This happens though. This isn't like out of control. And this isn't me trying to give you hopium or copium or anything like that. But there's definitely some cup and handle stuff going on here. So we could see a breakout. Then the resistance is going to be at 65 on WIGME, which includes Cypher, which is why we're looking at this. Now, do I see the same thing on Cypher? Kind of, actually. It does look very similar. If you ignore the tweezer top here, it is the same thing. So, we might have some hope here for Cypher. Might be, and this could be the bottom of the handle. That's now my official take. That was a roller coaster of emotion, wasn't it? You're like, it's going to zero, and now it's like, no, it might be fine. So yeah, it could be a bottom. Could be a bottom. Only time will tell, though. Only time will tell. SNDK, why is it the only memory stock flying? Good question. I don't know. SNDK. Let's take a look. It is up pre-market significantly. Wow, 7-8%. I thought I was pretty sure we were going to sideways trade here for a while, and we may still be. So I guess I'll leave this arrow for now. But what's the news? There's got to be some news here. 7 minutes ago, prime for 5-day winning streak. Wall Street backs margin overhaul. Cash return strategy after Investor Day. Okay, SanDisk wants to stop being a memory cyclical. Stock up 7%. Extended gains from Investor Day after JP Morgan resumed coverage of the NAND flash memory maker at overweight with a 22.5 price target, 47% above the last close. That's probably why. I would guess that has a lot to do with it. Also disclosed new business model agreements with 8 customers. I wonder if this is like subscription stuff. Interesting. Susquehanna moved its target to 3250. Oh my goodness. Well, there you go. Definitely, that's good news for chip makers in general. My guess is, all the semis are going to read that and be like, "Hey, why not me?" David NYC. That was the other barbershop guy, wasn't it? We have another. Wait, maybe you're not. Somebody was a barbershop guy. Oh, maybe it wasn't David NYC, but it was somebody in NYC. You've watched Generate Income by Selling Cash Secured Puts video. Can I suggest a few high liquid and fundamental strong stocks below $15? Ooh, that's a tough one. Below $15. Yes, green cheese. That's exactly it. Let's see. Low. Let's look at. All right, we got to look this way. With high. Okay, well, for one, ons I like, but it is high beta, so it's not low beta. If that's one of your requirements. But I think it has good fundamentals and a strong stock personally. Another one would probably be SoFi. SoFi is looking pretty good here. There is risk down to $15 from where it is right now. And then that's probably about all I've got. I used to recommend Ford. I don't know what Ford's at anymore. I guess Ford still fits the bill. I'm not a huge fan of it, but you could go that way. Rivian is also one that I would probably look at in that dollar range. It's pretty good fundamentals. We've got a few members that like to sell options on that. And then from there, we kind of fall out of that $15 range pretty quickly. But those are off the top of my head. There's 5 for you. 5, 4, I don't know, whatever I just gave you. Everything else that I've got is kind of high risk. Bull, actually, okay, Bull is another one that I'd probably generally recommend. They've been down quite a bit, and they've been making a good comeback here, though. Why am I on the 1 hour? They've been making a good comeback here, and they've broke above $8 repeatedly here going into earnings, which I think is a good sign. Hey, Ian Chicane, I know you. Can I look at what's happening with Lightpath? Yes. Let's take a look at Lightpath. Lightpath is looking pretty bullish on the daily. Couple of gap ups, which is nice. Closed the gap yesterday, which is amazing, only to make another gap this morning pre-market. We are up 10% pre. Why are we up 10% pre-market? Price target announced by Piper Sandler. There you go. 2 days ago. That'll do it. Well, that would have been this gap up here. There must be something else going on, though, right? I'm not sure what's driving that. Is Oust up? This is a optoelectronics company, right? I think. Let's see. Optical and infrared components. Yeah. What is Oust doing? Are they up? They're not up nearly as much. So something's going on with Lightpath. But yeah, it looks super bullish. The only thing that's negative about it right now is we just had a reverse golden cross, which is usually not a good sign. But the fact is, we were flying up through it, so that'll probably be invalidated pretty quickly, and we'll come back up here. But it looks quite good to me at a glance. I'm not sure what's happening. Likely resistance here though at 15. That's my guess. NU, new bank, Brazilian digital bank just crushed earnings. NU Holdings, we've seen them a couple of times. I think I usually confuse them with NewScale. And yes, they were just on the earnings correspondent yesterday, right? The earnings guy. NU, here's the earnings. So it's a Brazilian bank, huh? Okay. Digital bank, I should say. They expected 5.5 billion in revenue and they did 5.5 plus. So plus a percent there, and earnings per share looks great. So they're leveraging that increased revenue, which is a great sign. EPS is up 69% year over year. Nice. Revenue up 50% year over year, and both up quarter over quarter as well. Very strong numbers for sure. I will say I don't know anything about the company myself, but both impressive in terms of the numbers, and the chart is definitely bullish on all time frames. And there is most definitely a channel that they're running in right now. And I would say, we were just at the bottom end of that. So this looks great. It looks like a great spot. Will we keep running from here? Hopefully. But why are they up today all of a sudden is definitely a question. Was earnings yesterday night? Or I guess it must have been, right? That's pretty wild though. Yeah, so their resistance is obviously where they're opening, which is this gap. My guess is they're going to close this gap right away. And then, next resistance is going to be somewhere around Maybe the top of the gap, 1650. If not, it's all-time high targets for them, up at 19. They're I would guess they're going to run for a bit. That's a good call out though. I haven't actually looked at them despite having seen their numbers recently. You're right though. They are in a very well-defined channel right now. And if I copy and paste this line, we see it on the top end here too. It's quite clean. How about let's go back to the monthly. That'll make it a little bit clearer here for me in drawing. Yeah. No, I mean it looks good. It looks good for sure. We're on the bottom side of the channel too. So this is a classic swing trade setup. If you got in here, you did quite well. Very nice. Good pick. How does Hog Harley look, dude? First off, Will, what is Hog? Oh, it's Harley. Dude, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have not looked at Harley Davidson in probably 5 years. Interesting call out. I like it. I like it. Well, first off on the monthly, let's see what's going on here with a little zoom out. This, I love it. This is amazing. I gotta do this is why I love doing this, by the way. We get like I learned from this too, you know. The chart looks like it's wedging on the monthly for forever. And this wedge, by the way, goes till 2031. I don't know. I don't see anything exciting about this yet. We've had a good run up from the bottom of the channel. We might run back to the top of the channel. The question is ultimately, is this where we break out? I don't know if we do. Like you see what I see, right? You see what I see? I hope. This looks pretty clear to me in terms of the formation. And here's the thing, like if you were to draw a line through the center of this wedge, would it not be something like this? I mean, it would actually be like this because you know the wedge is not straight, but like we're at the dead center of it. So like we're in coin flip territory where we could backtest off of this area. I think it's likely we do run back to the top at 36-ish, right? Which is a 35 probably percent upside from where we are today. I don't hate it. It's not a stock I'm interested in personally for a few reasons, but not because I hate motorcycles or anything like that. But it's just I don't know enough about them, and I would be interested in learning more about their manufacturing, sourcing, and where they manufacture. I feel like not everything is actually made in the U.S. on Harley. That might be incorrect, but that's like a memory I have of them. So those are things that I would want to look into personally to understand the potential to break out of this wedge. Are we at a point where we can break out? I don't know. I do think there's definitely potential to the upside of it getting back to near 40, right? Which is pretty awesome. But yeah, definitely check it out. NU was below 15. It is low beta. Well, I'm not sure if it's going to be low beta for long. Well, thank you, David. Thanks for stopping in. This was a Berkshire buy back when they went IPO. And you? Really? That's interesting. I didn't know Berkshire was like, because that would have been like a very targeted international buy, wouldn't it? So anyway, all right, we've got about 10 minutes to open here. Let's take a quick look, see if anything else has gone wild this morning. We've got Reddit is obviously up, Ampix is still up, Lunar, ONS, and then I know we got Lightpath is up. We looked at that briefly. We don't really know why. We've got NU is up post earnings. That looks fantastic. Um, I think those are all the big ones. Is anything down bigly? We know Circle is backtracking a little bit. That's the most read on my watch list, though. Kind of interesting. What is SpaceX doing? We haven't looked at SpaceX in a few days here. It looks like it is backtesting off of the clear resistance here. This was obvious for sure. And maybe it's going to sideways trade here for a bit. This could be, maybe we're going to bull flag. That would be totally fine if you're interested in them popping back out. I still don't see it though. I don't know, man. I look at SpaceX and their market cap is back up to 1.86 trillion. I think 200 or 150, sorry, puts them back at 2 trillion ish. I don't see it yet, not based off of their numbers or anything like that, but you know, I could very well be wrong for sure. Kathy Woods, Kathy Wu brought into Rocket Lab. Let's see, Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab is getting a little. Is it getting some love from Kathy Wood? Does Kathy Woods have sway anymore, or has she lost her touch? Is she considered washed up? She was the darling there for a little bit, coming in hot with a lot of good picks. But I mean, just like our buddy Leopold, I don't know if she still got the touch. But honestly, like I think it's a good buy there. We're back above the 200 SMA. Seems bullish. We had a good strong back test here. Are we getting back into this channel? I don't know about that, but it does probably head back up near all-time highs at some point, I would guess. Just a name. But yeah, let's see. Is that listed in the recent news for them? I wonder. Rocket Lab gains overnights. Rocket Lab advances Neutron's Hungry Hippo and wins new Space Force deal. Well, that's pretty good. Major hurdle on Iridium acquisition. Blah beat. Oh, I don't see anything on Kathy Woods. Actually, I would have thought that would have showed up here. I still think I think she is well known enough that her funds would be listed in the news and the headlines, but it doesn't look like it, does it? Oh, here we go. Here we go. It's Kathy Wood. Oh, she doesn't have an S. I couldn't remember. So the market picked one, Kathy Wood back the other. Which was which? Well, you just told me she bought into Rocket Lab. I don't think it has to be either or, honestly, and I think they serve slightly different markets, don't they? Um, Yeah, it's cool. Look, both of these I think are very bullish here, short term, long term, etc. I hold a position in ASTS. I do not currently hold a position in Rocket Lab. I'm kind of excited to hopefully free some shares up at $70 on ASTS. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. We are looking a little bearish today at open, and maybe some petering out, but also possibly, well, yeah, I don't know, the ascending wedge is not like the best thing to see. That could be we could end up with a little bit of a dropout here, but I don't know. We'll find out here in the not too distant future. Good week overall for them. Good couple of weeks. I mean, look, they're up pretty significantly, 35% in a couple of weeks. Look, if we ever break 60, I am always recommending buying ASTS at that price. What happened to my lines here? They're not straight. I don't like it. I gotta fix them. Um, but I think space is fine here. I like having a position in it. I am trimming a little bit just because I'm heavy on ASTS. But again, I don't see why we don't at least retest the 200 here in the very near future. Zeta. Is it Zeta or Zeta? Does anyone know? Because we say theta, not theta. Although I guess you could say theta. That is kind of how you say. That's how you pronounce the cheese anyway, isn't it, dude? This has been on a run. Holy cow. 55% since July 24th. Wow. Anyone buy there? I wonder. That does look quite juicy. They had obviously good earnings here as well with the 10% beat on EPS. Really nice to see that. And a beat on revenues. So not only did they make more than expected, I like how their estimate was almost for 2069. That would have been hilarious. Why did they not make that? Come on, man. Their CEO lost respect, or CFO. I guess the CFO might have been the one who claimed that digit there. But look at that, very bullish, and they have definitely been in a upward channel here as well for the better part of the last couple months. My guess is they run up to the top of it. This is where I would expect resistance. It's going to be, we're going to call it right now at 3150 today. Okay. All right. That's as high as we're allowed to go here. This is the top for today anyway. That doesn't mean we can't keep going up. We probably will. In fact, actually more likely we're going to test this bottom of the gap here in the near future. It looks good though. It looks good. Did we test that gap before we crash into it via the trend line in September? I don't know. That would definitely be a breakout, but it's bullish. It is definitely bullish on I think every time frame. Yeah, it is. So like Look at this. We've got silver flow too. I love to see that. This is amazing. Super bullish there. We've got that on weekly as well. Very nice. Then we've got the 2 week, which nobody looks at. Very nice. 4 quad stars everywhere. Everywhere quad stars. Yeah, you basically can't get more bullish than this. This is what this means for Zeta. So I would think we still got some space to run here. All right. Anything else that you all want to see? We got 5 minutes till open. We've been going for a solid hour. So thanks everybody for stopping by. Reminder to, if you haven't, you enjoyed this, hit that subscribe button. Let's take a look at the indices going into open. SPY currently opening at all-time highs, more or less, within a couple of pennies anyway. Yesterday's all-time high was 77777 no 779.37, and we're currently at 778.53, within a dollar. Very good. And then we've got QQQ is at 0.23 up on the day. Love to see it at the peak of yesterday, basically. And you know what? I feel like QQQ is going to retest all-time highs here very shortly, which is, if you didn't know, 747.83. Very nice. IWM is flat, but they were opening up slightly down earlier, so this is great. And yesterday were all-time highs at 305.05, and we might retest that today as well. Quick look at Bitcoin. We can see that it continues to sideways trade here, slightly down today. Who cares? No news there. And gold is back up after some back testing here. Now, I'm still bearish on gold personally. I think we could back test downwards towards 4,000, but if not, I might be wrong. Could be a bull flag, could be breaking through, sitting on the 100 SMA, a lot of resistance there. So we'll see what happens. Finally, VIX has dropped. It's about as low as it goes. We'll have to see if anything pops out on us there. And that's going to be it for the indices. We've got a request on Tesla and app. Yep, Tesla. Let's take a little look-see. It did exactly what was expected, testing the bottom of the gap. Didn't even pop it. So that means that we missed it by a couple of pennies here, which would be, let's see, the high was 342.11, and we missed it by 341.64, within a buck right there. So very close. We're opening, though, into the gap. So we are going to close that gap, it looks like, today. Now, I would have guessed. I would have guessed that we would have back tested down and like double bottomed or something here, something like this. But at the moment, it seems that Tesla is interested in filling that gap. So we could expect a run back up to 372, 373. So that looks good to me. And then app, probably the last one we're going to get to today. Possible tweezer bottom. Had a good recovery yesterday. Well, it was almost 3%. Certainly could be a dead cat bounce. I do have my alert here that was triggered. We hit the alert. This alert was based on closing this gap here. So this hit perfectly, like to the penny. I think, I don't know, past the penny, within a dollar. Okay, that's pretty solid. And if you were interested, there's pretty decent cash secured put opportunities on app. Last I checked. Let's see what app's given us today for 300. Now, what are we opening? We're opening flat. Okay, that's fine. Let's take a look at app, and the 21st is what I'd be interested in. You can sell a 300p for $4. 450, in fact, most likely, for next week. That's over 1% on your money. It's an expensive contract, though, so the risk is a large portion of your holdings maybe might be impacted if this were to drop to a lower level of support, which is as low as, from what I can tell, 290 would be the next level of risk, which you could also sell that put for about almost 1%, almost. So yeah, you gotta weigh the pros and cons there if you're interested in app. But after we've wiped off what 60% of our stock value here, yeah, just under 60%, we could be at a point of recovery. Now, there are going to be some resistances to break through here with the gaps, so maybe there's some sideways trading, but overall, I think apps probably back up from here, especially when they had good earnings. I mean, again, I know they missed on revenue slightly, but EPS was good. They're making money, and I'm not sure that was really, truly deserving of a 50-60% drop. So that's going to be it for me. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic Friday. I plan to have a fantastic Friday. Have a good weekend. We'll be back on Monday to do it all over again. I'll see you then. Take care.